and we have takes. Welcome to Football Takes. Football! Yeah! Football!
All right, gentlemen. Championship Sunday in the NFL. Yesterday, we had a snow globe game where they were showing the real time in Denver in the third quarter. Crazy. It's like, it's just a little blustery and there's a couple snowflakes. And then 15 minutes later, it was like, whoa, okay. Can't see the field, can't see the players. And if you're Jarrett Stidham, you can't see the Patriots secondary as you're trying to complete passes down the field, which is what ended the game ultimately.
How about the Fox or CBS broadcast putting the yard lines too digitally on the field?
Did you guys like that or no?
And then they took them off because at one point in time, Drake May disappeared into the graphic. I'm not kidding. So
right.
Those were on the field when the Patriots punted. The punter's legs were missing.
So funny. They might want to dial in those graphics just a little bit.
They just took them off because then Jim Nance is like, I can't even begin to tell you. I'm just guessing where the ball is at, so let's just play ball.
And then at one point, there's some staffers tried to walk lines down the yard lines on the actual field so the players could at least see some of the yard lines. And the lines were so crooked because it's hard to walk a straight line, 50 yards across the field. So these zigzaggy yard lines.
Were those were those leaf blowers?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
that they used.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, so funny.
I use those if it's just a dusting outside.
Yeah.
On the concrete.
Yeah.
I use the leaf blower. It's actually right there. I use the leaf blower.
See? No, it's great.
Heavy wet snow though, it becomes
Oh,
problematic.
I hate that stuff. Bad for the heart.
Yeah. So our guy Thor, by the way, we've so it's Senior Bowl week down in Mobile, Alabama. So he's in theory going to have draft-related content on Thor Talks Purple, and we'll start firing off some of the draft-related content here on Football Takes as well. If you're new here, click that subscribe button and the like button on this episode. But he has had 3 flights canceled because all of the weather going on sort of east and southeast. But he did just text here that the 4th one is scheduled today. So we'll see if Thor can get down to Mobile. If not, then, we tried 4 times and a bunch of people's flights are getting canceled. But
that's the worst.
Football.
Such a pain. But I'll start you guys off with this one here, all right? It's kind of a broad take, but my take is, it must be so frustrating for 75% of the NFL, including our beloved Vikings here, to look at the Seahawks and the Patriots slide down the NFL's mountain after being Super Bowl winning teams, in the Patriots' case, a 20-year dynasty. The Seahawks were a very, very good team that probably should have multiple Super Bowls, but 2 of the best franchises, most successful in the league 10 years ago. Sliding down the mountain, hiring new coaching staffs, new front office in the case of the Patriots in some areas, new quarterbacks, and climb right back up the mountain to the Super Bowl. While teams like the Bears and the Vikings and, hell, even the Packers haven't been to a Super Bowl since 2010. The Cowboys haven't been to a championship round game in 30 years, let alone all the dumpster fire teams like the Jets haven't been to the playoffs in 15 years.
Yeah.
But it must be so frustrating to watch 2 competent franchises hit the reset button in a bunch of key areas, take a breath, fall out of the picture, and then not just sprint back to the playoffs, but sprint right back to the Super Bowl before these other franchises can even get out of bed.
I liked the Barstool tweeted out Drake May has more playoff wins than the Jets since 2011 in one playoffs. That's the same as the Vikings too, because the Vikings have won 2 playoff games since 2011. It's. I think a lot of people were trying to figure out, do you want to root for another Patriots dynasty? Because even the other one I saw yesterday, 10 of the last 12 AFC champions have been the Patriots or the Chiefs. So they've also just basically had it in their grasp too for the last 12 years. I don't know. I like Drake May. I like Mike Vrabel. I think that is a completely different. Neither of those guys are like Tom Brady or Bill Belichick. They're different. Vrabel came from that tree. He was around there. He was a player there. But I think Drake May, Mike Vrabel are cool guys to root for. And then Seattle side, I think it's actually cool to see how they went from legitimately like one of the best defensive runs maybe I'll ever see in my lifetime 12 years ago, where they were the number one defense, Legion of Boom, and now here they are. I don't know if it's a Cinderella story, but here they are in the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold in his first year as a quarterback there.
You know what's funny is I'm guessing next week when we get all of the media going up to the Super Bowl, Vrabel has been very, very adamant and specific that he is not from the Belichick tree.
Yeah, he's not.
Because he's not, right. But right. I mean, but the Belichick tree is a dumpster fire. And so he's been like, I played for him. I was not on his coaching staff. I did this myself, which is very, very true and hilarious. But here's the thing is, if you hate the Patriots, totally get it. Like, yeah. But how do you not respect them? Like, how do you not respect a team that can do this, that can dip down? And by the way, do it by the book. Like this is how you think of it, right? Like, get bad to get good. No one thinks, it'd be nice to get bad for 10 years, right? Like, you think, how can you do it as quickly as possible and pivot? And you do have to have the fortune of a really good quarterback draft class, which they did in 2024. But that's the thing, like with teams like that, I get why people hate them, but like when they dismiss them, they're blueprints for how you do things. They use a little bit of luck. And the other thing too is, and this is where Bob Kraft, old and somewhat quirky, and he goes to massage parlors, or he used to, but this is where he gets a lot of credit. You know what he did? Took a year look at Jared Mayo and said, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And Ron Wolf did the same thing in 99, I believe it was, while he was Packers GM, and his son is now, of course, GM of the Patriots. But Ron Wolf did the same thing with Ray Rhodes. And he was asked, why'd you pull the plug so quickly? And Wolf said, because if you know it's not going to work, why prolong it? I have a lot. That's a hard thing.
That was after Holmgren had left.
Holmgren went to Seattle, and Ron and Wolf promoted Ray Rhodes, who then I think eventually coached the Eagles for a bit as well. But anyway, promoted him for a year, saw that it was not good, and instead of like saying, you know what, he's going to improve, it might be fine, said, no, we're done here.
Yeah, and in some ways the NFL has a firing problem where it's like any sign of like a dip in your progress, like, I put a coach on the hot seat. But in other ways, it's really obvious if something's not working operationally, leadership standpoint, details, and to just like admit your mistake. There's so many egos in the NFL. Admit your mistake early and move off. I mean, the Jets, I think Aaron Glenn is a disaster with the Jets, for example. And who was that guy? Because the Broncos, who almost got to the Super Bowl, if Bo Nix had been healthy, maybe they win that game over the Patriots, which is a whole conversation. But Nathaniel Hackett, they realized, because that's another well-run organization. This guy has no clue how to manage a game. He's just not a leader. Maybe he's more of like a second guy running the offense kind of guy. And they said, we got to move off this dude. Bring in a real adult, Sean Payton, who's been there before. And some of it, too, is with the Patriots and the Broncos, both those teams yesterday. We're not sure about this coach. This might have been a mistake. Who else is available? And can you capitalize? Now, the Jets organization is so far gone that even if they had moved off Aaron Glenn and said, all right, this is a mistake. We made a mistake. Let's go after John Harbaugh, Mike McCarthy, these like credible coaches that are sitting out there. Kevin Stefanski, they probably, much like the Browns are experiencing right now, would have just gotten rejected because you let your franchise get to a certain point and those guys don't want the job. But it's just, just feel really bad for those New England fans and the suffering for the last year and a half, between dynasties, and now they're right back. Reminiscent to the callback with the snow globe game in the playoffs as a gateway to get to the Super Bowl. So just really, really happy for those suffering fans out in the New England area.
Helps to be well run. Dex, you want to go next?
Yeah, I have a Stafford take. So I think he either stays with the Rams or he just retires. Where I guess my question to her take is, what is next for Matt Stafford? Because I know Judd threw out the great one for Purple Daily like 3 months ago, which took us all by surprise that the Vikings trade for him. I don't think he would want to play here. do you guys think Matt Stafford, after going from Detroit and then his family goes to Los Angeles, he has great success there, he's up there in age, like, why would he want to, I guess, to leave that area? And I guess maybe, I know we're doing football takes, not Purple Daily. Why would the Vikings, why would he want to play for Minnesota, get out of California, go to a cold weather state, be out without the family and stuff for a long time? I think either he stays with the Rams or he's done. And I would love to see, by the way, what is the next quarterback for Sean McVay? What's the next QB project there, right? Because they've went from, he revitalized Jared Goff. He got Stafford to a Super Bowl. They've obviously had playoff runs. I don't know if this is a KOC thing that he's learned from him, but he has yet to really draft his own quarterback, right? He inherited Jared Goff. Did he draft Goff? I thought he inherited him, right?
Jeff Fisher was the coach the first year of Jared Goff.
Good old 7-9, 8-8 Jeff Fisher. I would love to see the world too. Does Sean McVay draft a quarterback? This is a really interesting part for the Rams. I would love to know what the future holds for them.
Because the Rams are sitting here and they got a bunch of pieces and they got their defense kind of melted down for chunks late in the season. But yeah, I'm with you. The more this plays out for the Rams, and Sean McVay was asked about, hey, would you want Stafford back next year after the game? And he was pissed about losing, and so he was already on edge. And he clapped back at the guy. He goes, what kind of a question is that? He literally is an he's the MVP of the league. Of course I want him back. Does he want to come back? You should go ask him if he wants to play again. I think, is he technically, he is under contract, right? For one more year. Let me pull this up here. But it is, for any sort of thought of, is there a way that this could end where, because there was some steam a year ago that they might have been too far apart on a contract and maybe they were going to move off of him. It's a $16 million base for next year, and then there's a $16 million prorated option bonus. I don't know exactly what the trigger is for that, but if he plays again next year, which he is playing at a higher level than pretty much any quarterback in the NFL, I can't see it being anywhere but the Rams. So I think Declan's probably right. It's retirement or Rams.
That's probably true. Still make the phone call, still find out, but he and if the Rams did want to cut bait and Stafford wants to continue to play, I do think O'Connell's system would suit him really, really well. But that being said, that's I don't know. McVay is probably going to try to convince him to play out the contract. I mean, I think he's probably the odds-on favorite to win MVP, right? Of the three guys, which includes McCaffrey and Drake May.
There's 5, right? Because isn't Trevor Lawrence on that list?
Yeah, there's 5. You're right.
I'm forgetting the 5th.
But anyway, he's probably going to win it. So it'll be interesting. I did think the game yesterday, back to your point for a second, Phil, though, I did think that the Rams' defensive deficiencies at times were fairly glaring. I mean, Seattle and Darnold played really well. Full credit to Sammy Boy.
He did.
But there were some glaring deficiencies there. So,
I mean, Sam Darnold. Just real quick on him for a second. He was the big hit early. Was it to Rashid Shaheed? There was a 50-yard strike.
Yeah, who they
early.
got in a trade at the deadline, right?
Yeah.
That's
Special
another
teams lightning bolt. Just a big play guy.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep. Imagine I don't think they were playing in the Super Bowl without that dude. I mean, he's been a bolt of lightning for them at the end of the regular season and in the playoffs. But then where Darnold was getting essentially thrown on his back and that little floating touchdown in the back left corner of the end zone to Jackson Smith and Jigba to seal that game. I mean, he stood in there. And if you were to, this is the crazy thing about Darnold. If you were to have just been dropped in with no knowledge of what you were somehow were in a coma for the last year and you were dropped on earth and ball, but you haven't seen the season play out. And here's the NFC Championship game. Which one of these two quarterbacks is the likely leader in the clubhouse for NFL MVP? Watching that game, you might have said Sam Darnold.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's the level that when he's playing at his best. Now there's a lower floor on him that maybe Matthew Stafford doesn't have. But to another question, I threw this at the O-line committee crew. If I were to have told you Matthew Stafford is going to throw for 370 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and take 1 sack in this game, who wins? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Right.
So not
the Rams.
not the Seahawks.
Nope.
But then if I were to have told you Darnold's going to pretty much answer that with the exact same numbers, maybe like 20 fewer passing yards. And he did take a couple pretty bad sacks that I couldn't tell if they were protection things or if it was his fault. But to go toe-to-toe with one of the best like single-season quarterback statistical performances you've ever seen in Matthew Stafford was major credit to Sam Darnold.
I will say this: the Seattle defenses stand with second, third, and fourth and sixth. That was incredible, and that fourth down play. I mean, Stafford's seen everything, right? And Seattle shows they're going to bring the house, and then they bring like three and drop everyone in back, and you could tell he panicked, like he's like, "What the hell?" And he threw a not great pass there. Mike McDonald, wow, that was a hell of a call.
Yeah, they kind of loaded up like the left side of the line there because there was it 7 or 8 guys? I want to say 7 guys up at the line of scrimmage, and the offensive line has to account for all that.
Yep.
And they definitely dropped 8, and even I think the 9th guy was maybe keyed in on. I don't remember if they hit what personnel it was, but they only really rushed 2 guys because the third rusher kind of floated back into.
Yeah,
Short depth.
There was nothing there.
Well. And yeah, Stafford. I mean, he probably could have sat. It's like the internal clock starts to go off there. I got to get rid of the ball. It's like he probably could have sat in there for another 2 or 3 seconds on that last incompletion. But
that was a hell of a play call. And that defense is. I mean, that's fun to watch.
Yep. Seattle just finds a way. This is the second time now to go back to kind of the beginning part of our discussion, where through the draft and through coaching, they've just put together this crazy athletic defense that's confusing, and especially when you're playing in that stadium and you got the advantage of the crowd noise and everything. And also worth noting too, take within a take, the head coaches we've gone so far in the direction of offensive head coaches, Vrabes and McDonald, defensive coaches. But also, like, more important than defensive coaches, really good leaders and really know football on both sides of the ball. We get so fixated on, is he an offensive guy or I don't know, is he a leader? Can he like get everyone on the same page and organize and get the most out of their players? And both those guys are in the upper echelon after what we've seen the last 12 months or so.
Absolutely. Football. My football take is very, very simple because it's almost a question, or it is a question, and it's this. Do teams get forecasts?
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos. So the Sean Payton coaches the Broncos. The Broncos were the home team yesterday, and it looked gorgeous when the game started. I guess it was in like 25 degrees, which here would have been balmy. No precipitation at all. But the forecast said it's going to change. And you play in, last time I checked, Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
And in Denver, Colorado, what do we know happens even quicker than it does in Minneapolis, St. Paul? The weather shifts. It changes. And once it changes, it becomes a different
sudden change
animal. Sudden change of weather, okay? So when analytics and weather meet, my advice, go with the weather, because Denver, 4th and 1, Patriots 14-yard line, second quarter. They're up by 7, okay? Now, 4th and 1 at the Patriots 14. Bo Nix, your QB. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, okay, go for it. Don't love it, don't hate it. Ambivalent. Just do it.
Yeah.
Jarrett Stidham is your quarterback, okay? You know, you have, I would hope, a forecast that says at a certain time, which would have synced up with the second half, all hell is going to break loose, weather-wise. And when it does, that's going to impact everything. They go for it. They don't get it. The Patriots come back and tie it at 7, and then they win 10-7 because in the second half, fourth quarter in particular, moving the ball and trying to kick a field goal was damn near impossible. Damn near impossible. So my question is, when analytics meet up with a forecast, don't you got to take the forecast and say what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And Jarrett Stidham's your quarterback. Again, I'll say it, Jarrett Stidham.
I'm actually gonna hone your take even more and say the forecast was irrelevant. Jarrett Stidham's your quarterback. Kick the field goal, right?
Yeah.
That's fine too. Yeah.
If I would have told you in that moment, if I would have told you that you're going to be playing in a snow globe for the majority of the second half, you would have kicked the field goal, to your point. But if I were to have told you the weather's going to remain the same, The weather is not a factor. What should you do in this spot? And Sean Payton, after the game, he did say that he is going to regret that decision for a large chunk of his remaining coaching career.
And well, he should.
But he said in the moment, and they called timeout to kind of think about it, and they initially had a run play called timeout. He switched it to a pass play, thought they had a great play call lined up, and his logic was our defense, we love our defense, and we love the way our defense came out early in this game, and we thought, because they were up 7-0, getting another touchdown to go up 14-0, that then we could just lean on our defense. I would say, oh, you're so close. You're so close. Because if you're up 10-0 in that spot, regardless of weather, but especially with the weather coming in, that game's probably over. Not over, but you're playing at home in that environment, and Drake May has been awesome, but Drake May has struggled in these playoff games and has never been on this level before.
Absolutely.
To have essentially a freebie shot at a 10-0 lead with a backup quarterback, or the mystery bag of because if you convert the 4th and 1, there's also no guarantee that something doesn't go haywire when you have a guaranteed 3 points in your hand. And I love the analytical craze. We should definitely be going for it more often on 4th downs, but you have to consider circumstances. So I totally agree with you questioning that play.
And then let's go to the second half when it's snowing like a banshee. All hell is broken loose, okay? You're 4th and 5 at the Patriots 28. Now, what do we know about trying to kick a field goal with swirling winds and snow? We've seen it before in Bears games. The ball literally, no matter what the kicker does, the ball will just travel with the wind. So wherever the wind is going, the ball is going, okay? Yeah. He sends Will Lutz out there to attempt a 45-yard field goal. Now, I know it's Stidham again, 4th and 5, but at that point in time, you're better off just going for it. Like your hope is you're going to score a touchdown or you're going to lose, because that Will Lutz, a poor son of a buck, is trying to kick a field goal from 45 yards, and I don't even care if it's from 25. That wind is going like this. Sean Payton had maybe the worst weather game coaching display I've seen.
He was chasing the three that don't you think that's what it was?
Yes,
there was 4.5 minutes left. He's thinking, we're probably not going to be down here again. And if we're not going to be down here again, do I trust my guy, backup Stiddy, to get us 5 here? And I don't know. It's so hard to call plays in that weather with a backup quarterback, but it felt like as the weather got worse, the Broncos offense devolved into, with their passing, because you're not just going to run the ball. It's actually, I think a lot of players would tell you, offensively, it's more effective to pass the ball.
Because you got footing?
Because your running back can't get footing and make cuts. Yeah. So you'd rather just throw the ball for 6 yards and fall over and get yards that way. But it kind of felt like the offense devolved the passing game into short passes to R.J. Harvey, who had no chance to get footing and was trying to cut and just, I don't know how many snow games he's played in his career. Or deep shots down the field that were very low percentage as well. And I would have just liked, was there a middle ground there? Are there some tight ends that you could just sit on for 7-yard gains? Because the defense, it's hard to react defensively in that weather.
That's what I was going to say. Yes.
To pass plays. It's easier on run plays because the running back is kind of a sitting duck and you can swarm and he can't change directions and juke and make cuts. So it's kind of a weird game for Sean Payton.
And obviously different weather in the Seattle Rams game, but what was it? Less than 5 minutes left when the Rams failed on the 4th and 2. Stafford got the one where he should have been sacked and fell forward and was awesome. They converted the drive. But then when they turned the ball over, I was fine with you got to go for that. The Rams. The Rams, in my opinion, made the right decision to go for it there in that 4th down. You have Stafford. You need to get up. A field goal still doesn't get you to tie the game. And if you pin them and, get the ball back, you're in a good position. I thought that was the good decision to go for it there. But with the snow, with Stiddy, I think you got to take the points there.
Old Stiddy
boy.
The Stiddy had a chance there to make himself a starting quarterback in the NFL with 2 big games. But I don't think
as a football fan, I am delighted the Broncos lost.
You didn't want to see another game of Stiddy in the
you know
Super
what?
Bowl.
You're
Stiddy,
right.
Santa Clara Stiddy.
Drake May has not been great, but give me Drake May. I feared that I was going to have to watch a backup QB. And, for all the Jeff Hostetler comparisons. That's 1,000 years ago in football, okay? Jeff Hostetler did.
I love a good Jeff Hostetler comparison.
He did it for Parcells in the early 90s. Well, yeah, the early 90s is 1,000,000 years ago.
Jeff Hostetler's mustache will forever live in infamy.
And he did a great job, but the quarterback job was so different back then.
We had a run there. Like, Doug Williams was a backup, wasn't he, when he won a Super Bowl with Washington? Or was he the starter that year?
I think he was the starter that
He came out, okay.
Yeah.
But we had a run of kind of some random quarterbacks there with, like,
God.
Hostetler.
The Super Bowls.
You had, like, Mark Rippon won a Super Bowl in 91. Frank Reich had the comeback to get the Bills to the championship.
They lost, but if you recall, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Stan Humphries the quarterback for the Chargers in that awful Super Bowl against San Francisco?
But he was their starter for the year, wasn't he?
But I'm just saying random, like you talk about random quarterbacks, guys are just the ultimate slappies.
Chris Chandler.
Kerry
Don't
Collins. Joke about Chris Chandler. Who's
Kerry
that?
Collins.
Yeah.
Kerry Collins.
41
Jake
donut.
Delhomme.
Yeah.
Now you guys are just trolling
Trent
Vikings
Dilfer.
fans.
All of the random quarterbacks.
Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson. Yeah. All right. I have a take that has nothing to do with yesterday's games here to throw at you guys, presented by North American Banking Company. North American Banking Company, especially for the Twin Cities audience here, 6 locations across the Twin Cities. And if you're looking for just a better, more communal banking experience and you're sick of the big banks with their sort of disconnected approach, you can get those personal relationships and cutting-edge online tools with North American Banking Company. And if you're looking for the blocking and the tackling, the basics, the checking, the savings, they got you covered. If you're looking for something bigger, like buying a home, tackling a renovation, need help with something bigger financially, they can be your home bank. North American Banking Company, nabankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Football.
All right. Plenty more on the Super Bowl matchup going forward here in the next couple weeks. But something else happened over the weekend. Mike McCarthy got hired as the 4th Pittsburgh Steelers coach since the 1960s. And the reaction is sort of predictable before I get to my take. People clowning it as an uninspiring hire and just kind of a safe hire. What are they really getting that Mike Tomlin couldn't deliver with Mike McCarthy? And just kind of combing through the reaction. My take is, I'm going to come to the defense of Mike McCarthy right now. My take is that Mike McCarthy is the most maligned head coach, the most maligned good head coach, maybe in like the last 30 years in the NFL. If you do a blind resume, and I'm not saying he's Bill Belichick or Andy Reid here, but if you do a blind resume on Mike McCarthy, and a couple people did these on Twitter where they like Coach A, Coach B, Coach C, but 8 division titles, a Super Bowl win. He's tied for the 11th most playoff wins all time with Bill Parcells, Dan Reeves, Pete Carroll, and Marv Levy, who brought the Buffalo Bills to 4 straight Super Bowls. Top 20 in career winning percentage among all NFL head coaches in the Super Bowl era. And not that long ago, unlike Mike Tomlin, he led the Dallas Cowboys to 3 consecutive 12-win seasons in which, I hit the flaw on Mike McCarthy. It's kind of twofold. One is clock and game management toward the end, so got to clean that up. Maybe he can't. And then there's been some playoff duds with Green Bay. Green Bay probably should have won more than 1 Super Bowl under Mike McCarthy. They had a couple playoff duds. And the Cowboys probably should have at least gone to like the NFC Championship game in 1 or 2 of those years. But I am here to defend the honor of the most maligned good coach in the NFL right now, Mike McCarthy. And quite frankly, if you get Mike McCarthy any semblance of a quarterback there, they're probably going to win the division, go to the playoffs, and we'll see if they can build from there and get to the Super Bowl. But Mike McCarthy.
Well, you're right. Like you would think he sucks. Like you would literally think this guy must be one of the worst coaches of all time.
Mike McCarthy. They went
12-5
every year with Dallas except for last year.
I think the Dallas thing, because I don't remember, and it didn't end well. He got fired in season during a disastrous year for the Packers. But I don't remember this maligning happening there. So I really think it's the Cowboys, the intense heat on that job, and the lack of playoff success once they got there. But the Pittsburgh fans are acting like this guy's awful, like this guy sucks, and it's like he doesn't. I mean, that's just not true. He's recycled, I guess. Like that might be something, but it is remarkable how negative. I mean, you would think that they hired some slappy coordinator from the Jets.
I know. Well, also, what's funny is how we view certain resumes differently. Like Bill Parcells is this absolutely, like, we put him on this pedestal. He's got this coaching tree. He's been a mentor to all these other coaches. He won, was it 2 Super Bowls with the Giants back 100 years ago, 1986 and then 1990.
It was 100 years ago.
Yeah. So he does have the 2 Super Bowls. But Bill Parcells, at the end of the day, was a bounce around guy. 4 different teams, New England. He went to a Super Bowl with New England, and they got drubbed by the Packers.
Yeah, I think that's because he bounced himself around, though. Like, he didn't get fired. He would just have, like, because he was such a stubborn dude. But, yeah, like McCarthy is no question. He is maligned. He is maligned.
Mike McCarthy has a better career winning percentage, and it's not even really that close, than Bill Parcells. Has as many playoff wins as Bill Parcells. Parcells has 1 more Super Bowl win, so okay, give him credit for that. But it's just like I don't know. It's just kind of funny how we come up with these conclusions. But I think part of it is Mike McCarthy kind of looks like a doofus a little bit. He's kind of got
he's a Pittsburgh guy though. He's perfect for Pittsburgh. He's a yinzer, right?
Still looks like a doofus.
Right, but I'm saying that's Pittsburgh,
Could be
man.
North Dakota, Pittsburgh, Maine, Canada. He looks like a doofus.
Well, I mean, not Toronto.
What?
Not
There's
Toronto.
no doofuses in Toronto.
No doofus in
Toronto don't have.
Is that your next take?
Football.
Exactly. No, you know what? Here's my next take, because it's a coaching take as well, and it's funny because we have talked about previously on these shows about if a guy gets a head coaching offer, he's certainly going to take it, right? Because there's 32 of them out there. There's not a lot. The tide has turned, boys. Did you see this morning? Grant Udinski, who is the former Vikings, QB coach,
assistant quarterbacks coach, right?
and now he was the Jacksonville Jaguars OC, not calling plays, correct? Because Cohn calls plays there. But anyway, he is on a list of a few teams that are like he is the next up-and-coming coach. Well, true or not, Udinski today became the 3rd coach to pull out of the Brown search. Jesse Minter said, see ya, got the Baltimore job. Mike McDaniel took the Chargers OC job without a head coaching job and has proceeded to talk to teams. And Udinski today said, peace out, I'm out. You are now, this is 3 guys who have said, this is such a dumpster fire. And there was a report that they want you to take the psychological testing.
Yeah, they want like
It's
an
incredible.
analytical mind or someone that.
But
they're literally putting these coaches through more of a testing ringer than any franchise in the NFL. It's like, you're the Browns. What are you doing?
And these coaches are like, I'm out. Like they are literally saying, if it is you or nobody, I'll take nobody.
And I've heard a lot of great things about Grant Udinski and his time here in Minnesota. He's kind of viewed as like the one that maybe got away, but there was nowhere to promote him at the time because I got an OC and a quarterback coach here. I think he's making the right move for himself too, because he's 30.
Yeah.
He would be the youngest head coach hire, I think, in NFL history. Sean McVay was like in his early 30s when he got hired. And that was considered like, ooh, he's definitely a whiz kid, but holy cow, there's going to be dudes in that locker room older than he is. But Sean McVay with Washington, before he got that Rams head coaching job, he was the offensive coordinator for 3 full seasons, which is, okay, that's a long time to be in NFL years, immersing yourself into structuring an offense. Before that, he was the tight ends coach for 3 years. Udinski was, again, I think the assistant quarterbacks coach 2 seasons ago, becomes the 1-year coordinator in Jacksonville. just because you're like a great football mind and you have a bright future and you're on the rise doesn't mean you're ready at age 30 to jump into a head coaching job, especially the heavy lift that Cleveland job would be.
Yeah.
And all the idiots that work in the ownership and front office there. Like, dude, he should wait like 3 years, period, but stay away from that Browns job because it could derail your entire career.
But this is three guys. Three guys have said no who are in completely different stages of coaching life.
Yeah.
And the one that stands out to me is McDaniel, who's had a job, got fired, obviously, at the end of the season by the Dolphins. But I think he said, you know what? If I go there and it fails, and by the way, it probably will, that's strike two. And I'm probably done. So like these guys are all at very different stages of coaching lives. And all of them, like, to me, this, I don't remember, and I might be wrong here. I don't remember a job where three different people, a head coaching job, have said, I'm good. Thank you very much.
And there's with some of these guys, there's a certain level of coordinator pay now that if you are a borderline head coaching candidate or you've been a head coach and now you're a really coveted offensive or defensive coordinator, so Brian Flores falls into that bin, Mike McDaniel falling into that bin, you can make seven figures, like millions of dollars as a coordinator.
Yeah.
So if it's like, all right, yeah, I could make more money as a head coach. There's definitely a gap between what you can make as a coordinator, a highly paid coordinator, and a head coach. But I can still make millions. I'm not that old. I could boost my stock as a coordinator, also learn under Jim Harbaugh, who's been a wildly successful head coach in the NFL and college. You know, a lot of these guys jump into these crappy head coaching jobs because, well, it's one of 32 in the world. And if you're past the age of 50, you should probably take it because you might never get another one. But I think it's the right move for these younger guys to just like stay away from these crappy jobs that could just derail everything for you.
I mean, my guy, Kellen Moore, waited and waited and waited. OCs to three different teams. And then, New Orleans, he did a
That's a pretty well-run organization for the most part.
Yeah. But like he waited, he interviewed for a bunch of jobs, including the Vikings job. When KOC got it, I believe that they did interview Kellen Moore at least once. I don't know if he made the second round, but he waited for the right opportunity, and now he has New Orleans in like this kind of peculiar position where got Tyler Shook playing really well. Maybe they're going to gear up to get in on one of the quarterbacks in the 2027 draft. Yeah, I think waiting it out and not just jumping at your first opportunity is probably maybe the wiser move right now in today's NFL.
Football.
We got more football takes as the week goes on here, but there's a few for you guys. Super Bowl coming up in a week and a half, almost 2 weeks.
Prop bets.
And then, was that?
Prop bets, Gatorade.
Prop bets.
Great Gatorade colors, national anthem over under times. Plenty of stuff. I love this time of year.
We'll do full breakdowns of all those things. Yeah.
Bad Bunny?
Bad
I can't
Bunny.
wait for Bad.
A little Green Day action.
Green Day.
Yeah, is that a pregame thing for Green Day?
Is it?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
When's Green Day playing?
They do like. I don't think they're doing anything on the field per se, because they do like that stage and like concerts happen.
Oh,
like,
outside, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing something on the field, but yeah. One of probably my favorite concert or band I've ever seen live. Saw them at Target Field like 3 years ago. It was legit, and I liked Green Day beforehand, but like one of the most euphoric concerts I've ever seen in my life.
They have a catalog, man. They got a catalog. Go back to Dookie.
Dookie.
His
Dookie
wife's
was the greatest.
got Minnesota roots. His
Yeah, she's
wife's
from
from here, and so yeah, one of us.
Right. Football.
Green Day.
Football.
Yeah. See you guys next time on Football Takes.